All right, for this lesson, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do some animation. So instead of using a video, we're going to kind of create the video ourselves in a simple way. So let's go in here with the blank project. And right off the start, the first thing we can do is we can add in a ellipse. So if you click this button here, and just select this option so we don't have any outline. Now, if you hold, see how I've clicked and I'm dragging my ellipse? If you hold Shift on your keyboard, you will get a perfect circle, like so. But what you want to do is hold Control on your keyboard and scroll out with your mouse wheel to zoom out. Because when I make this circle, I want it to be quite massive. So massive that it covers the my entire video. So this rectangle is the video that I can see, and then some. So something like that. Now, why do I want it so big? Well, go ahead and double click your ellipse object. And we're going to add an effect. So make sure your needle is at the start here. And we just used this nice handy tool in the previous lesson. So we're going to go to transforms and we're going to add a zoom. Make sure your effect is at the front. Click on your effect, and in the properties window, let's change once again, like last video, let's change this to a linear parameter. And let's go from 0 to 100. And if you press play, you can see we get this ellipse growing. It's growing pretty slow though. So let's go back to our main timeline. And that's just a little too slow for my liking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this ellipse object and I'm going to really shrink it down. So as you can see, this is 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. So let's bring it down to the 1 second there. Let's see how that looks. That's still a bit slow, so I'm gonna bring it down to. There we go. Now we're getting nice and quick. Maybe even a bit quicker. Zoom. There we go. So we kind of get this white background animated. Pretty simple. Let's keep adding to it. Let's take our needle and put it to the end of this ellipse. Now let's add a rectangle. And you can draw this rectangle. And just draw it so it fills up the space. We don't need it to be bigger than the space, but like the ellipse was, we just need it to fill it up like that. And you can shrink this down quite a bit. Maybe set the duration of this rectangle. Let's go over here into the properties window. Let's change the duration to, I don't know, just put 3 seconds for now. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0. And if we all wanted to make our ellipse have the same duration, mine is at 0.16 seconds, if you're curious. So you can change yours to be that duration too if you'd like. Just make sure it's slided all the way to the front and your rectangle's right on the end of it, just like that. Now in Canvas, there is a square Nike picture that you can download. If you want to use another square picture, be my guest. So download it, and then you're going to click on Add Image in VSDC. Find where you downloaded it. And here we can see this square icon. Now it's going to be on the same layer as your rectangle probably. So you can right click one of these empty spaces behind with the layers. And you can go layers, add layer. And you can put this Nike right on top of our rectangle, just like that. And let's shrink it down a little bit. Shrink it down and let's put it right in the center of our video. Now let's add some animation to this icon. So let's double click our image object. Let's take our needle to the start of the timeline. Let's add a video effect. Let's add a transform and let's do a rotate. And click on this rotate effect, and in the properties, your rotate angles property, change that to linear, and let's go from 0 as the first parameter to 360 degrees. Press enter, and that's going to rotate our icon one full rotation. But once again, it's a bit slow. So what you can do is you can bring this in to make it a bit faster. Zoom. Or you can click on here and you have a object drawing duration. Under there you have a duration property. And you could say I want it to be, you could put a 20 as the last number there, so it's 0.2 seconds. Take your needle to the front and let's add another effect, another transform, another zoom. Let's take this effect to match the length of our rotate effect. And with the zoom effect clicked, you have this levels property. Make sure it is linear if it isn't already. It probably should be because you just added a zoom effect, so it kind of remembers. So that's the slanted line. And let's go from 0 to 100. Whoops. Press enter. So now we get rotating and we get zooming in on this icon, and it looks much more lively than just slapping an icon on a video. So if we go to our main timeline, this is what we kind of have right now. I think I want to add one more effect. So if we double click and go back into our Nike image object, take your needle to the front, video effects, let's do a transparency. Let's do a fade in. And let's take this fade in to be the same length as our other effects. That looks a bit nicer. And finally, the last thing we'll add is some text. So in our main timeline, put your needle about here somewhere, just for now. Click the text. And let's make a little text box. Let's make the text color black. And what's Nike's slogan? Just do it. So I can make my text box a little bit more smaller. I can fit to size. And I can center it like so. And I want this text to show up just after this animation, the rotating and the... So it's in a good spot right now. Click on the text object and let's put it behind, or seemingly let's put it in line with the Nike logo, just kind of in the middle. And then let's click on our text object. Let's put our needle at the front. Let's add an object. Let's add movement, but not a movement map. Let's make our own movements. So this first option. And let's move our cursor and then click and move our picture, or sorry, our text down to there. So you'll notice, just kind of like Blender, the text is going to start here and then it's going to move down here. Now that's just a little too far for my liking, so let's take this keyframe and let's pull it like that. Now that's just a bit too quick. Let's maybe put it to the end of... Hey, there you go. Okay, maybe a bit too slow. Let's put it right there. I can't tell what I like. Sorry, I'm just playing around with this until I find one I like. Maybe right there. It's too quick. You know what I think it is? So I think I want a longer fade in. So if I put that there, then I can put this here. There we go. So my fade in duration is now 1.16, and I put my second keyframe kind of in the middle of that fade in effect. Let's go back to our main timeline. This is what we got. Now that text is just showing up a little too late, so I'm just going to move it slightly forward. Still a bit late. I'm going to move it up forward some more. There we go. That looks a little bit more smooth. And I'm just going to move it slightly. Looks a little off-centered. And make sure it extends. Whoops. And there we go. You've created some free advertisement for Nike. Pretty easy to animate in this program. So we can make the videos ourselves. We don't even really, well, it's nice to have videos, but we can make our own too. Cool. I like it. And if you want to see how this looks all finalized, if you go into the Export Project tab, you can press play. And there you have it. Something you'd maybe kind of see at the end of a commercial or something.